So, if you're interested in helping your child get better at reading, if they are a new reader or a struggling reader, stay tuned because we're going to give you 5 ways to help your child get better at reading. Hi guys, I'm Amanda. I am a first grade teacher of several years. I think this is my 6th year teaching first, but I've taught 2nd, 5th, and 6th. So I've also homeschooled 2 kids in 1st grade, and I have a kindergartner right now. So I've done a lot of reading instruction. When I taught 5th, I only taught ELA, but 5th grade, you know, they're not really struggling readers anymore for the most part. So I want to talk to you about helping your kids with reading because I live in Western North Carolina. The class I have this year went through kindergarten when we were hit with Hurricane Helene last year, and they missed a large chunk of their kindergarten year. So they came to 1st grade, obviously, missing a large chunk of what they should have gotten last year, but we simply weren't in school. They just missed. They got all that they could in the time that they were there. So we've been trying to work really hard to catch them up so that way when they go on to 2nd grade, they're, you know, where they ought to be. So from that, I thought I would share some things because I'm sure my class, the group of children in Western North Carolina that missed, you know, 6 weeks of kindergarten last year are not the only ones who struggle with this, including probably if you had a kindergarten or 1st grader back during COVID and they missed a large chunk of instruction, you may still be dealing with some of the problems that come from lack of instruction in reading during those foundational years. So I want to talk to you just a little bit about 5 things that I feel would really benefit kids that are struggling with reading, or that I'm doing with my kindergartner right now to help her be a stronger reader as she moves up through school. So number 1, we practice sight words. So some, like starting kindergarten, they're going to introduce maybe a word a week for them to start practicing with sight words. If you have an older kid, you may want to try to get a little more practice in. I send a list of 25 words home with my students. They take home a reading folder. They keep it for the week. Like they get a leveled reader and they get a list of sight words. I have 9 different lists that run through however many sight words that is, like 225. So that's the ones that we're trying to work on during 1st grade. They are the words that they're going to see most often. Most of the words are words that do not follow the spelling pattern, so they can't decode it. They can't like sound it out and know what it says because it doesn't follow the rules, which is what makes it a sight word. In part, a sight word can be decodable. It's just words that you see so often, you should know them by sight. You should be able to just like run through and, a, the, as, it, if, every, very. These are words that we just know because they're sight words. You see them so often. So I will leave a couple links in the description box to some different places that you can get sight word lists. You can get like lists like pre-primer, which is like kindergarten, primer, which would be, I guess pre-primer would be pre-K, and then primer would be kindergarten, and then 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and they go all the way up. You've got the Dolch list, the Fry list. There's like various lists of sight words that you can get, and most of them will have primarily the same words on each list. Fry has like a top 100 and a top 200 of what you should know as you're learning to read. So if you have a new reader or a struggling reader, start with the 1st level, start with the first 10 or whatever, practice those till they know them without sounding them out. That's the key. They need to know them by sight, not to have to stop and sound them out, because if they're having to sound out all the words as they get into 2nd grade and up, which is kindergarten and 1st is learning to read, 2nd and up is reading to learn. So the 2nd grade is really where you transition from learning to read and sounding out everything to reading for comprehension and needing to get information out of what you're reading, not just learning how to read the words. So I say that as a first grade teacher, that I need to get my kids to where they're reading fluently, not having to sound out a lot of words, so that they can move on to second grade and be ready for the content that they need to take in second grade, if that makes sense. So, sight words, practice sight words. Number 2, if you have a very beginning reader, and if they're, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, and they're just starting out, maybe they started kindergarten late, maybe they have some developmental delays, maybe if they're 3 years old, you want to get a head start on getting them ready for kindergarten. Here's big things. Letter recognition of upper and lowercase letters, and the letter sound. So not just can they say their ABCs. Great, good job. Glad you can sing your ABCs. But if you don't know what that letter looks like or what that letter says, it's not going to do you a hill of beans when you go to start reading. Okay? Does that make sense? So I say that because I've had kids, not right now, but I've had kids that, you know, they can sing their ABCs, but if I show them the letter G, they have no idea what that letter is, nor what sound it makes. No clue. So practice what the letter name is. Go through, if you've got books, if you've got like art in your house that has, you know, we all have those signs that's got like writing on them. If it is print and not script writing, you know, have them tell you what letters are there. I know I had some pillows out for the fall that had like thankful, grateful, and blessed, and my 5-year-old would sit on the couch and like point to each letter and like talk about what letter it was. She would play school with it and pretend like her classmates were sitting there with her and ask them, what letter is this? No, it was really funny. But yeah, I mean, as they learn more letters, they're more interested in doing this. They're like, ooh, I know this now. They may have seen it over and over again, but the fact that they know what it is now, it's a real confidence builder for them. So practice identifying their uppercase letters, their lowercase letters, because you're not always going to see both together. Usually you're just going to see one or the other. And what sound those letters make. We start off with just the basic sounds, and then a lot of letters make multiple sounds. All your vowels make multiple sounds. G can make 2 sounds. C can make 2 sounds. S can make 2 sounds. There's a lot of letters that make extra sounds, and we don't know why, but that's why English is so hard to learn. So anyway, letter names of uppers and lowers and letter sounds. That's your number 2. So practice those if you're in those very beginning stages of pre-reading. That would be pre-reading more so. I will show you this because I thought it was very helpful. When I homeschooled, I pulled my oldest out in the middle of 1st grade. So she had kindergarten and half of year 1st grade in public school. And then I came home because of some things going on. And so I brought her home. I finished 1st grade out with her. My middle, then my youngest, was 3 at the time. And so we did preschool with her the next year when my oldest was in 2nd, and then we did kindergarten when she was in 3rd. So I taught my middle kindergarten and 1st grade, and then they both went back to school and I went back to teaching, and we switched districts and everything. So anyway, so they're still in school now, but this is one thing that I did use. Hang on. Okay, sorry. Okay, so this is all about reading. This is the pre-reading. This is my book of letters. It comes with 2 different books. So I think this is the kids book, and then there's the teacher guide. So this is the pre-reading. So like kindergarten would be this one, or yeah, kindergarten. You could start, this is level 1. So I'm doing this one like starting about halfway through kindergarten. Because the book of letters, I mean, you can spend all of kindergarten just going through the letters, but since that's what I did with my middle, because I had her in kindergarten, so we did the book of letters. We started it during her preschool year though, and then as soon as we finished it, we moved into all about reading level 1. So if you would like some extra like things to do at home with your kid, I cannot recommend this more. I love it. I also, if you just want to get these, my number 3 thing that you need to do is find some decodable text. Decodable means they can sound it out. It's not like leveled books that you'll get, like the Step Into Reading and the I Can Read and all those books. Those are not decodable. Those are leveled. Leveled books are going to have words in them that they've not been taught. Like if it says it's a level 1, it's not necessarily accurate. Look at the guided reading level on the back. The lower the number, the easier the book is. Or the lower the letter. Lower the letter, higher the letter. Like an A is the easiest, B, C, D. The further you go through the alphabet, the harder the book is. So if you're looking for like a kindergarten level book, you're going to be looking A, B, C, or D. If you're looking for a first grade book, you're going to look for a D through an I, J right in there. Those are first grade levels. Again, those are not decodable text. Decodable text means that your child can sound out and blend together every word that's in it, apart from the sight words. So like this is volume 1, level 1, Run, Bug, Run for All About Reading. The first story, the first few lessons of All About Reading level 1 go through letter A, the sounds, letter A, letter M, letter B, letter P, and letter T. So you have 1 vowel and 4 consonants. A, B, P, T, and M. I don't think S has been introduced yet. No. So every single word in this first story has those letters in it. Bam, pat, tap, 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 tap the map, tap, 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 tap the jam, tap the pan. Apparently this is a couple levels or lessons in, because this has J also. Tap the pan, bam, the end. The is a sight word. And then end. I'm not sure about that one. And then it goes to the cat. So they've introduced C and then T. But anyway, so what this is, it's all like short vowel. The first story only has that letter A in it. And then some consonants around it that they should have, that they've taught. So again, as long as they are familiar with their uppercase, lowercase letters, what they look like, what their names are, what they sound like, then you could go into All About Reading. You can get the decodable text without getting the actual teacher guide and like full curriculum. You can just order the text if you're looking for decodable readers. I highly recommend. And there's 4 levels, and each level, like level 1 has 3 books. I think level 2, 3, and 4 only have 2 books each, but they are, the new ones are in full color. So these, I got these before they went into full color. So they're really pretty. They're really nice books. So, yes, decodable text. If your child is learning to read, they need to be able to have text to practice. You can also, I can link a couple places in the description box where you can find printable, decodable passages to use that you don't have to actually go buy. But me, I like books, and for them to be able to like open it, manipulate them, and you know what an actual book's going to look like and feel like, more so than just a page with printed words on it with no actual like story or pictures to go with it. Because again, these are like 4, 5, 6, 7-year-olds. They want like a story. They want something interesting to hold their attention. So anyway, all right, number 4, I will say echo reading. Echo reading, basically what you're doing is you're going to read a line from the story and then they're going to echo it back to you. So my daughter's book, well, where it is, it's like a level B. But it's not decodable. It's one of the Scholastic leveled books, and you can get them on Amazon. I can link them. They're not my favorites. I have a few that I send out, but basically what it is, it's getting them practicing reading in the right direction and identifying some sight words. And like once I've read it with her like 2 or 3 times, she can read through the entire book by herself. It's getting her familiar with some of the words, so just reading patterns, fluency. Reading things over and over and over again increases their reading fluency, which is why when I give my kids at school a book to read, I make them keep it for the entire week so they can read it multiple times. The more they read the passage, the better they get at reading the passage. They read faster, they read more fluently. It's just better all around. So what you're going to do when you are echo reading, you're going to read through, you're going to point to the words while you're reading, and they need to follow along while you're doing it. So it would be, Jax has a pet ox. And then you would go back, you don't read, they read that same sentence back to you. If they can't, then you need to just keep practicing. Or maybe just do like one word at a time if they struggle with doing the whole sentence. So just practice. Number five, make reading a daily habit. Read every day. Either read a book to your child. Most of the time, if they're in school, they're going to have a library book. Or if they're at a reading age, then they're going to have some kind of book maybe the teacher sends home with them. You take them to the public library and get books. Go to the bookstore. Go to the used bookstore. I mean, there's so many places you can get books. It's ridiculous. So, every day, put print in front of your child. You can read to them. My 5th grader, she and I read The Weston Game together last 9 weeks because she was struggling with some of the comprehension stuff with the level she's reading at, keeping up with it in the sense of having to take, she has to take AR tests now, and we hate that, but she just wasn't retaining enough of it. So I was like, okay, we're gonna read it together. So she and we took turns reading out loud. We read through the entire thing. I would ask her questions along the way because it was a book that I taught when I was in 5th grade. I read it when I was in 5th grade. I taught it when I taught 5th grade. And now I made her read it, and she loved it. It was great. So read with your kids. If they're struggling, please read with your kids. You may not feel like you know what to do to help, and simply being there and showing your support and reading with them is everything. It's everything. If you're looking for, I went on like quizzes and some different sites, and you can go on Google and just say questions for, if they're up in like 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade and they're having to read, you know, harder text, and you're not familiar with the book, you're not familiar with, you know, any of the stuff, go online and say questions for, you know, this book or this chapter of this book, and you will be amazed at the stuff that you can find on the internet to go along with any book your child is reading, to help them practice and help them make sure they're understanding what they're reading. There's just so many things. So if you would like some tips on helping your older kids that are struggling with comprehension and stuff, let me know and I can do a video on that. This one was primarily foundational skills. So 1, practice sight words. 2, practice letter names and sounds. 3, find decodable text for them to practice reading. 4, echo read if they're, you know, brand new to reading really. Once they can start decoding pretty good on their own, you don't have to echo read that much anymore. But definitely when they're first starting out, echo reading is really helpful. And then 5, making reading a daily habit. If they will read for 20 minutes every day, the statistics for what they can accomplish as they go on through their education and out into the world are astronomical. It's amazing the difference. Kids that don't read versus kids that read or are read to, their vocabulary growth, their understanding, their comprehension, their ability to write and speak and converse with people. And it's just, the benefits are so great. Please, please, please just spend more time reading with your kids and having them read. So if you have any other questions, or comments, or anything, leave them down in the comment section below, and we'll talk down there. And I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.